A word that I found super helpful to use is Mindstuff. And this is a word that comes from Patanjali. And I like it because it just sums up all the stuff that could possibly appear in our awareness. And that could be emotions, thoughts, sounds, so internal and external. And sometimes it's cool to categorize this mind stuff and say, oh, that's a feeling, or that was a thought, or that was loud, someone's car alarm going off in the background. But I like to just simplify and just call it all mind stuff. If you like the idea of getting into the different flavors of mind stuff, one of the cool models comes from Dr. Daniel Siegel, and he has what's called a wheel of awareness. And at the center of the wheel is awareness, and around the hub of the wheel are all the different things. So maybe physical sensations, emotions, external sounds. And I might be misquoting, but you get the idea. So if you really wanted to explore the flavors of mind stuff, you could certainly do that. But keeping it simple, we have mind stuff arising within our sense of awareness, beingness, I amness, that part of us that it's experiencing, right? So it's the being part of the word human being. So all the mind stuff arising is super cool. And in that mind stuff comes things like even our personality, our identity, everything, right? And so that's the human aspect. It's awesome. It's fun to explore. And what's super cool is we could direct this. So using another definition from Dr. Daniel Siegel, he defines mind in part as information and energy flow. So basically, we could use our mind to influence our molecules. So if I start thinking about this cute baby that I got to hold over the summer, oh my goodness, I just scooped him up and that oxytocin rush. So if I just think about that, I've actually released that hormone. I can actually feel it in my body. Similarly, if I start to think about something I desire, I'll start to maybe get that reward center going off and get to feel a dopamine drip or dopamine rush, whatever way it releases itself. So that's super cool that we're in this body, right? And this human part of being human and personhood is that we could direct and explore and see what's going on. But I never want to overcomplicate that or get into, hey, in this philosophy, they call it da-da-da, or in this religion, they call it da-da-da. And if we get really scientific, blah, 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 blah. And I love the science. Believe me, I've gone down so many rabbit holes of science and science and science. But simply put, we have all this mind stuff and body business, if you will, arising from this beingness, I amness, and I like to just call that amness. So that, I'm here, I'm having an experience. I know that. I knew that as a little kid. I knew that as a teenager. I knew that as an adult. And that's the only aspect that's been constant, the whatness of what we are. And it's formless. People argue over that, but that's okay. You can then just think of it as seemingly formless and more of that energy being aspect, non-physical. And then as we show up as the human part of human being, well, then that's the physical part. And that's where all the fun games, shenanigans, mishaps, etc. can happen in a world of form. That's in my sense of how I interpret everything. That's why you could have shit hitting the fan and bad crap happening just because physics, right? It's the physical, classical nature of matter and what's going on there. So that's the gist of breaking down human being into this human aspect of personhood and matter and physical, and the being aspect, which is the underlying whatness, the non-physical, the formless. So we have our whatness, and then we have our who-ness. I sound like Dr. Seuss. But that's what I have come to describe, and in an attempt to keep things really simple. And if you feel so inclined, let me know what you think or what other ways you look at it that help you to describe this, something that's really hard to put to words. All right, take good care.